the fruits of our labor. It is about stewardship and making a better society. This is the Dhamana talk show where transformation takes place. With me, Pauline McKenna. A very warm welcome to the Dhamana talk show, and I am so humbled that you guys are tuned in. Today we are privileged to have one knowledgeable man on board. He goes by the name Mr. Simon Mundu. He is actually a finance professional with experience in both public and private sector. He is a former Minister of Finance in Kitui County, and finally, he is a family man. Mr. Simon, thank you so much for coming to the show, and please say hi to the viewers.
Thank you very much for the welcome and the invitation, and thank you for having me here today. I am happy to be here, viewers. Welcome to the show, and welcome to get information. I believe it will be useful for all of us. Welcome.
Of course, when money matters, money is mentioned, everyone is very, very attentive. And today we are going to tackle money, finance, and trust you me, this man is full of knowledge and he is going to deliver it all to you. So, Mr. Simon,
yes.
The youth are actually facing a challenge with loan issues, We have so many loan applications, mobile loan applications on our phones, and these mobile applications are very easy to access. And that is, I guess, the reason as to why we are rushing to access these loans. So what is there any problem in the youth taking these loans, these soft loans?
Oh, thank you for that question. It's a wide question. Mm-hmm. And I agree with you. There are very many mobile-based kind of loans which are not only the youth, even the people who are not youth are also taking. Mm-hmm. But the difference is that most of the people who are in those applications are the youth.
True.
So they are taking most of the loans.
Yes.
And one of the things that becomes question number one to look at is, what is the cost of this loan? Mm-hmm. Because a lot of times people go for it because, one, the banking sector may have failed in providing facilities, loan facilities to the youth, because they will demand for securities which the youth do not have, and many other processes which the youth are not ready to go through. Mm-hmm. But the mobile applications have given it very easy. At the touch of a button, you have a loan.
Yes.
So the youth find themselves easily getting into these loans. But when you look at the cost of those loans, you realize you need to think twice, not only twice, maybe 10 times
about it
before you pick up that loan. Because the cheapest of them probably will be something like 90% interest if you annualize it. Because what you normally look at when you are taking these loans, you look at the interest rate they are quoting for you.
Yes.
But that interest rate is per month. It's not an annual interest.
It's not.
So the moment you annualize it, you realize some of them are at, and I will not mention names, but we can pick up them from the internet. They are there in the internet if you wish. Yes. They are all over. Yes. And you also have the interest in your phones when you try to get the loans. Some of them, if you analyze their interests, are over 500%. Others are 150%. Now you tell me, where is it that you can invest that money that can give you that kind of a return? You can never.
So 150, 100, those are just interest.
That is the interest on the money you are taking. So if I say 100, what it means is, if I take 200 shillings, I repay 400.
Wow.
If I take 1,000,000 shillings, I repay 2 million, if the interest is 100%. If it is 500%, I take 100, I pay 500, plus the 100, so it's 600. I take 2 million, I pay about 12 million. So the interest is too high. And for the people to avoid now defaulting on the loans, what have you been doing? You take from one app,
yes.
And then when it is due, you take from the other app, you pay the other one.
Yes.
So all you are doing is cycling your money around.
And at the end of the day, you have debts.
You have debts and you are indebted throughout, because you take this to pay that, you take this to pay this, you take this to pay. So you are always taking money to pay, and they are watching you. At some point, they will realize this person has a problem.
Nice.
because he's borrowing here to pay here. So for the youth, before you take those loans, think twice.
So you have to think twice before you
Think
take
twice,
loans.
if not more than twice. Because the interest is very high. The normal banking industry interest rates before they repealed the law was 14% annual.
Annual,
14% annual. But then, even when you are able to get that 14%, you realize it is too much. So you go for the one which is 500%. What wisdom is
Not
here?
realizing that you are actually bringing up a very heavy debt in your
Exactly. You are crippling yourself
future. Wow.
right from the beginning. And when you stop paying now, your faith becomes a challenge.
True.
Proverbs tells us, only a fool does not pay loans. So we should pay loans when we pick them.
Only a fool does not pay loans.
Yeah.
So actually, the youths, I'd say we as the youths are actually doing it because, it's freely, it is very accessible. I just download the app and then, boom, I have the cash I need. So there is this negative effect. The interests are very high.
Yeah.
A youth out there has debts in all these applications.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, how will it affect the youth's future or the youth's income generation in the future?
Well, there are a number of effects because the moment you are not able to pay the loans, then what happens is that you are listed with the credit reference bureaus.
The CUBK.
Now, when your name is taken to the credit reference bureaus, what it means is that you can't borrow anywhere.
Yes.
Your borrowing capacity has been curtailed because the reference bureaus have been set up and approved so that they can collect information on the risk of borrowers. So they are supposed to advise a bank, Simon is a very high risk client or a low risk client or no risk client.
Okay.
So the banks then will make decisions on whether to give me a loan based on that profile.
Okay.
So they will be making a decision. If they have been told this is a high-risk person, then they will not give me a loan.
Nice.
And if they do give me a loan, then they will not give me at the interest rate the others are taking at.
It will be
They
higher.
will price it higher to take care of their risk. That's why when the government capped the interest rates, a lot of people could not take loans from the banks. Because you are a risk client and the interest rate is low and the banks have no room to price you higher. So that now they can get back their money. Now, once you are listed with the CRBs, number one, you cannot take loan in Kenya for the next 5 years.
5 good years.
You are banned for the next 5 to 7 years, you cannot take a loan.
That's quite some
So
time.
you are already now curtailed, you cannot do the things you wanted to do. Number two, even those people whom you have facilities with, they can decide to review them.
Okay.
If it is interest, they can decide to increase the interest because you are failing. So they can make it more harder for you. The terms which you had been given, which were more sweeter for you, they can make them more harsh for you. And number three, if you have looked at most of the job adverts from the government, and the private sector has joined in, what do they want? One of the conditions will be told is, supply to us your certificate, your clearance from the CRBs, the credit reference bureaus. Now, if you have already defaulted in a loan, you can't be given one. Which means you can't go for the job. Neither can
And
you
that's
apply.
why the job will
So you have too many disadvantages. You have too many disadvantages. And that's why I was quoting Psalms 27:30, which says, the wicked borrows but does not pay. So the moment you are not paying, you become wicked. It could be, sometimes it could be that your income which you are receiving, you have lost your income. You are no longer earning the income.
Yes.
But the thing you should do immediately when you realize your income has gone, rush to the bank. I know this mobile phone money may not do that, but a bank will make a discussion with you. You negotiate with them, you tell them your situation, and you'll have new terms with the bank. But what we normally do is when we lose income, we run away from the bank.
Yes.
Instead of going to the bank to negotiate.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think when the deal is too good,
Think twice.
Think twice. Because it's clear that we are rushing for these loans because they are easily accessible. But trust you me, as we have been told by our finance personnel, it is risky for your future and for your income, you know. So please just think twice as you borrow these short-term loans, because they are very, very risky. We will be taking a short break, and when we come back, we will be talking more about finance. Keep tuned.
Thank you.
Welcome back on the show. Earlier on, we had discussed about the youth and loans, and we have been told that when the deal is too good, please think more than twice. So we are going on, and we will be talking about money management. And I realized that money management is actually the process of expense tracking, budgeting, investing, and banking. And most of our youths are quite a number of the youths are earning, yes, but there's this gap between the earning bit and the making it in life, which I think it's the money management bit. You know, it's a very natural human phenomena that we tend to satisfy our craving regardless of it being in our budget or not. So that means we are actually please expound on that.
Thank you. Thank you for that question. I think that question is a very heavily loaded question in the sense that when you look at the way the young are living today, it's like a competition. It's like you are doing what the others are doing.
Yes.
It's like you want to do better than what the other person did yesterday.
Yes.
Yet your incomes are not the same. Yet your sources of finances are not the same. Your needs are not the same. So you cannot be doing what others are doing. And yet when you find another one who is enjoying a lot of pleasures, you want to enjoy like them.
Where else your means are not there.
And your means are not allowing you to do that.
Yes.
So the little money you get, whether it is an individual or it is a corporation, a company, they must plan for the money they get. If you must extract value from money, you must plan for the money that you receive.
Nice.
And planning of that money is first sitting down before the money comes.
Then you plan.
You cannot plan for the money when it is in your hands.
True.
It is too late.
Yes.
So in fact, what you can do is in a year, a lot of times during the end of the year, we hear people talking about their priorities which they are planning for the next financial year.
Yes.
And that's what should be guiding you. You look at the next year, you look at your life and you say, this is the progress I want to have made by December next year. Yes. So every month, the income you are getting, before it comes, you already have a budget for it.
A plan.
A plan on how you will spend that money. You say then when this money comes, the plan may be even bigger than the money you have. It doesn't have to be the same as the money you have. So you have a long list of the things that you need to do. And out of those things, you prioritize them. The priority could be either the urgency of the matter, the importance of the matter, or the amount of money the matter requires. Yes. If it's something that you need to do with the 2,000, you can deal with it and finish, instead of waiting for the next 3 months. Yes. So in your prioritization, you'll have number one to the last one.
True.
And when the money comes, remember to come back to your plan and allocate the money to this plan. Now I have received 50,000, and this is my plan. Number one needs 10,000. You allocated 10. Number two requires, and of course you first deal with the must-dos. Yes. Because if you are in a rented house, you must pay for house rent. You must buy your food. Yes. So once you have done those, which should be in your number one priority, then the rest of the money you plan for it based on your other priorities.
Nice, nice.
Now, that helps you in spending your money. If you don't do that, you'll find yourself doing what has come first. You have received your salary, I come to you, please, I need 10,000. You give me 10,000. You are not thinking that you have already, you have not done what you needed to do.
Do not have a plan.
Somebody else comes and tells you, you know what, tomorrow we want to go hiking. It's a
5,000.
Saturday. Why are you staying in the house? And each is giving 5K. 5K for hiking. By the time you come back, you have done nothing
With your salary.
with the salary and the month is over. You have not even saved a shilling.
Okay.
Within that plan of yours, you must always have a line that says, I save this much.
Must.
If you want to grow in your life, financial life, you must keep something. You know, I draw this from, if you go back to the village, I grew up in the village. And then we have grown food in the shambas. The moment we harvest, the next thing that you see is, mother takes some of the food and keeps it far away from the other food that you are using, the one you are taking and cooking.
Yes.
It is only when there are chaos that you will see food come and you don't know where it has come from.
Okay.
She kept something aside for that time when things will be difficult.
True.
Corona has taught us that.
True.
The moment Corona has come and you are working
Yes.
and you have no job, maybe you had a regular job that you are doing every month. But now you have been told, go home. You have no income. Maybe your income was a weekly income. You are home now. Where do you get the next income? Next week you have no money. So you stop working on Saturday, and by the next Saturday you can't feed yourself.
You can't even pay rent.
Why? Because whatever you got, you spend 100%. And waited for the next inflow. You did not take a bit of it and then keep it for that day when you'll need it. That's why that saving line must be always in your priority list.
Okay.
It is this saving line which will help you to invest.
You know, the youth say we only live once. So when you have that cash, use it. Use it because you don't know about tomorrow. But now you're saying you must have that saving line in your plan. But most of the youths don't have this plan. It's money come, let's do what we have to do, then life continues.
That's why they must have a plan. Because you are not going to imagine you are living in this world in the next 2 years.
True.
If you are 20 years, you should be imagining that you'll be in this world until you are 80, 90, 100. How will you survive at 90?
And you have no job.
This is not the time when children would take care of their parents. Where we are going to, parents will most likely will be taken to the old men and the old women homes. And you will be there not able to feed yourself, even at 50, at 60, at 70. So think always that you'll be here longer. Then how will you survive when those days come? When you ask yourself that question, then you start thinking tomorrow. And that's why I said this saving is the one which will help you to invest. And I think of it like this. If you realize when you have money, I have a friend of mine who tells me he does not manage money. He has left everything about money with the wife. Because for him, when it comes to his hands, a week is too long. So every money him and the wife make, and they have businesses, it's the wife. He is not even a signatory to the bank accounts. So the only thing he does is they have agreed with their wife in a month, give me this much for my survival.
Just that.
Yeah. The rest will manage. Why? Because he knows his weakness.
Yes.
That the moment I have the money, I will not be able to manage it. So I need to leave it to somebody who can manage the money. Now, if you know yourself, you need to behave like that man. If you realize you cannot have this money saved in your account, you will spend it.
Yes.
You can do a number of things. You can look for an investment.
Yes.
And then take a loan, pay for the investment, and then this saving goes into paying the loan. At the end of paying the loan, you have an asset. You have saved.
So saving leads you to investing.
Yes.
And there are so many ways that a youth out there can invest, can maybe invest their savings too.
Yes.
Like, can you touch on maybe one or two of the ways we can invest our income?
You see, when you have your money, there are a number of things you can do with the money.
Yes.
And being a youth, I normally say when you are young, you have a whole future in front of you.
Yes.
So you can even take some risks at the beginning. Now, at my age, there are risks I can't attempt. It is too late.
Yes.
I don't know what will happen tomorrow, so I may not, but a young person can. So there are a lot of investments that people can do. A number of things that people have been doing is that when you are young like this, and I will say something which I told one of my nephews, it's like if you have some money now, which you can invest. One opportunity you can do is you look outside the city or the urban centers where land is cheap. You can go and buy land, let it lie for 5 years. The moment you are going back to sell it after 5 years, you'll be getting more than 10 times what you paid.
10 times.
You'll be getting more than 10 times what you paid. And that's an investment the people who deal with the land have learned.
Yes.
So you see them going interior.
To buy those lands.
They purchase a large parcel of land and they leave it there. After 5 years, they come and subdivide and they start selling to people.
And they get really good cash out
And
of
at that time, they are going to rate millions when they actually probably paid less than $1 million.
Wow.
So you see this person, his life has just changed. All of a sudden, his life has just blossomed with money.
True.
And you're wondering, where did he get money from? Those are the kind of things which they do. There are many other investments like today. We are having an opportunity like in daycares.
Daycares.
Yeah. What is a daycare? The young mothers are not able to get househelps.
True.
So where do you take your child when you are working?
These daycares.
Daycares are coming up and they will be the thing of the future. Because we will get into a place say that a mother has to stay with the children or take them to a daycare. So that will be another big opportunity for a youth to venture into. Agriculture has shown us it cannot die.
Agriculture.
It cannot die. I know many youths don't want to touch agriculture. But that with COVID, you have realized the people who are in agriculture are actually reaping big.
Very, very.
They are harvesting for their sweat.
Yes.
Because they have the product to sell. When everybody else is at home, then they are even allowed to move around. They are allowed to move around. So when chaos are there, there will be issues. Another thing is government decided to put it in their procurement law. That 30% of all procurement opportunities should be given to the youth, to women, and the people living with disabilities. Now, how many youths know that? I have a case in point in Kitui where I come from, a project which needed a person living with disability. They had to look for a person to come and tender for the job.
Look for a person.
Look for a person to come and tender for the job.
Does it mean we do not know what is going on?
Things you are here, but I think
ignorance, maybe.
Government has even opened a lot of opportunities for the youth. I can push it straight even to the sources of money. They have the youth fund. They have the WESO fund. All these funds are geared towards supporting the youth. They have the women fund. The youth, the women. A young lady like you are a woman. So you can access money from the youth fund. You can access from the women fund. You can access from the WESO fund.
And we're still saying there are no opportunities.
And the interests in those loans is as low as 1.5%. Others do not even charge interest. They give you just a management fee of 5%.
Wow.
But are you knowing anything about this? They are going to Fuliza and the related. They have no idea what they are doing to
My
themselves.
fellow youths, what are we doing?
You
we
can,
need to know.
You can as well do, you see, like when we were talking about the issues of the mobile loans.
Yes.
The mobile-based loans. The last data I looked at, there were about 2.7 million people who had been taken to the CRBs, the credit reference bureaus, because of default.
Okay.
And that should have been sometime early last year. And of that number, over 500,000 were youth.
My fellow youths.
Coming from these mobile app loans. For them, it's the mobile app loans.
And you realize that these loans, you actually pick them to only maybe satisfy your cravings. It's not for investing and
It's for
saving.
consumption.
Yes.
And not for consumption on matters which are important or necessary. It's just that you are going out with your friends.
Having fun.
We are going to have fun on Saturday. I have nothing. You bring in from the mobile phone some 3K just in case you need money.
Just in case.
Just in case. You would have avoided this. You don't have money, avoid it. You know, one of the things that probably I need to say is, if you have no money, please don't strain yourself. If you are taking a loan, sit down and calculate. What is the repayment rate of this loan? If I'm repaying in a month at this 10,000, my salary can it afford 10,000?
Nice. So do not rush for what you cannot afford.
If you cannot afford it, leave it.
Live according to your standard.
Live within your means.
Nice, nice. I personally, I am learning a lot.
Yep.
I am really, really learning a lot. And I appreciate that you came to this show. And I know so many youths there will be educated, inspired, and also transformed in one way or the other. So I want you to just look at the camera and tell those youths out there just one or two words about their finance.
Thank you. To the young people who are listening to us, money can mess you up. The moment you get messed up with loans, you totally get messed up. And there are many sources of money that you can get without messing up yourself. Most of these sources of money will require you to be together. You can even come together as a group and make some contributions. The normal chamas we hear about. Yes. If you started when you are this young, by the time you are 30, 40, you will have invested so much that you may not need to be employed by anyone.
Yes.
So do not rush into these easy to get monies that tie you down such that you cannot make a step forward from that moment. It is your life that you are living. Yes. Do not rush into getting into this enjoyment and fun and luxuries too early. Yes. First, make the money, then go to the luxuries with your money, not with the loans. Yes. God bless you. I believe you have learned something.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Simon Mundu. To my fellow youths, please learn to save and invest. It has been a very informative episode, and we thank God that you guys have been tuned in. Do not forget to follow us on our Facebook page and also on our Instagram page at Dhamana Talk Show, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Dhamana Talk Show, and also tweet us at Dhamana Talk Show. It has been a blessing. It has been an honor having you in studio and having our guests and also having our viewers. Thank you so very much for keeping tuned, and till next time, God bless.